This is Brother Carter with Tasteful and Toxic. I also have my lovely wife with me,
Val.
Hey, Val. Be sure and tune in to us every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
Don't sleep on us, baby. Get up, get your coffee. Tune in.
We love you. God bless you. We'll see you Wednesday. All right. Good morning, and welcome to the second edition of Unforgiveness with Brother Carter, Brother C, Mr. Carter, LC, whatever you want to call me, that's what I'll be. I'll be all that and some more. This is part 2 of Unforgiveness with Tasteful and Toxic. Can holding a grudge be considered unforgiving?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's about kind of like the same thing to me.
It's kind of like saying, you
You're
think?
holding weight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
weight. It's something
it's
you're
just
holding
something you're
on
holding
to.
on to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what unforgiveness is.
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Shoot.
How do, I'm just going to ask, have you ever held on to anything that has hurt you, or do you have anything that has hurt you that you have not dealt with?
Yes.
Okay.
I
And
do have things I've yet to deal with to this day. Yeah.
okay. And so do you think that there's any possibility, if there's any resentment that's harboring on there because you have not dealt with it? Or do you think that there could be some hatred toward? Are you sure that you've forgiven them?
I think like most people in my shoes, you learn how to shadow your pains and your hurts and stuff like that. And until you're faced with it, it's not a hindrance to you, if that makes sense.
No, I disagree. It is a hindrance to you just because you're masking it.
Yeah, you block it out. It's subconsciously a hindrance to
Yes.
you. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
Oh.
But everybody else.
But you know it because it'll show itself
Mm-hmm.
periodically.
But you
with
still
that
don't
line.
deal with it. So how do you deal with it? Is there any forgiveness there when you know something's there and it shows its face? And
I think there's levels to forgiveness.
oh,
I think there are levels. When we talked about forgiveness last week, but we're talking about unforgiveness this week. And so on the aspect of unforgiveness, I think there are certain levels to forgiving people or hurts or pains that come into your life. Is there such thing as a total forgiveness at the end of the day? I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that.
it is.
I'm gonna tell you how you get
I'm gonna
there.
tell you. Okay, come on.
When you first of all, there are different steps. I do believe. First of all, I identify with that. Oh, I'm harboring unforgiveness. Because a lot of times we don't even identify with it.
Right.
And then it's like, you know what? I'm gonna be intentional about forgiving you. You know, I forgive you, but I still see that anger rise up sometimes. So it's like, you know what? Let me just work on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be intentional. You know, I'm going to, whatever it is that I need to do that I know.
And that is an intentional thing. Forgiveness has to be intentional.
She giving us some steps.
Yeah, go ahead.
So then, you know, when I still see that thing rising up and it's like I said, I forgive them, you know, and I go through the process of forgiving myself. But process of forgiving myself can come after the process of, I found out that I have to keep praying for you. Like I literally have to pray for you and pray blessings on you, your family, and things like that. And that's a tough thing. Easy to say, like, you know, let's pray for one another, you know, pray for your enemies and everything like that. But when you actually have to do it for someone who caused harm to you, that's hard. And I think that's what breaks that hold of unforgiveness, because unforgiveness is a spirit that's meant to torment you,
right,
and to keep you, you know, bound. So, you know, you pray, you know, for that person. And I actually had to do it with somebody who harmed me. And I literally
you pray with that person or just
no,
for
not
that person?
with that person, but for him. Yeah, definitely for him. And then for me, I had to forgive myself after that process. But that's when it was revealed to me that I actually had to forgive myself, that I was holding on unforgiveness with myself.
And so and the reason I brought that up is just by not dealing with it or choosing to say it's not that big of a deal or just letting it, you know, you're harboring something and it's festering inside of you. So I just believe that for me, in my own experience, because even with the attack, I had to really start forgiving myself, and then I was able to forgive them. And I remember the first time that I started publicly talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
it put you uneasy, and he didn't want me to talk about it because it was a pain thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told him, I'm not doing this for you.
Right.
This is for me.
Mhm.
And so
As a protector, it's a very effective to me.
Yeah.
That something like that could
Yes.
happen to you.
and so he was trying to look out, as he always do, and make sure that I'm good, and really let's not go there. And I know that I had to start because I knew what it was doing to me on the inside.
Yeah.
So you got to talk about those things, and you got to ask for forgiveness, and then you start the journey for yourself, and then you start the journey to forgive the other person.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna let you do this next one then, if you don't mind.
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to?
You can do
You
it.
don't want to?
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up.
It says, what are the effects of unforgiveness on the body? Chronic anger puts you into a fight or flight mode.
Stop right there.
Mhm.
True or false?
True.
True.
So chronic, what you read that again?
Chronic anger puts you into a fight or flight mode.
100% true.
What that mean?
Either
though?
I'm gonna fight
Chronic.
this thing, like I'm gonna
I'm
attack
because
it or whatever, or flight
I'm
mode.
gonna-
I'm just gonna leave.
I'm gonna avoid it.
Mhm.
Mm.
I'm gonna act like it ain't there.
I compare that to like sink or swim.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's very a really good comparison to me.
Mm, okay.
Which results in numerous changes in heart rate, blood pressure, and immune response. Those changes then increase the risk of depression, heart disease, and diabetes, among other conditions.
True.
Forgiveness, however, calms stress levels, leading to improved health. 1000% true. A lot of people are suffering and dying because you're harboring anger, unforgiveness towards someone.
And then up in the hospital for she can cause yourself to have a stroke,
Yes.
Like
all
heart
types of
attack,
things.
all kind of
Yes.
stuff.
And have you guys ever heard of the I'll forgive, but I don't forget? That's to me like, I guess you can give an example. Last week we talked on the Love and Victory show about like relationships and knowing about someone who could cheat on you. And then let's say you forgive the person, the act of what they did in the moment, because you're like, I love that person, I want to make it work. But then it's something that's going to make you say all the time when you look at that person, I ain't forget it. The anger might still, so you're still holding on to it. You forgave because you see a future, you see, okay, I still want this, but then you're holding on to, you kind of don't let it go. So you still holding on to the anger, so it'll
still-
come
See,
up.
I
and then
really
you
fully forgive.
I
You
think many
forgive.
of us do this. We forgive in word,
Right.
but
not in deed.
Yeah.
And it's a process
Yes.
to
It's a
forgive,
It
you
is
know.
truly a process.
And I think when you can do remember, because of course you're not going to forget your
Yeah.
experience. You didn't forget.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
forget when somebody did something to me, but the way that I look at it now is completely different.
different.
You know, because I was
100%.
able to properly process it and put it in its proper
But that
perspective.
takes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
When people
absolutely.
forgive too quick in the midst of like 48 hours, 72 hours,
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
or
we'll
even
move on from it.
and
You
I'm
better
gonna-
sleep with one eye open.
Yeah.
and I know we gotta wrap this up, but I do think that even if you're placing a timeline on someone else when they need to forgive,
Oh yeah,
you
You're not
are
really sorry.
you already the messed up, because first of all, you're not God.
Mhm.
God's gonna take care of that thing. All you can do is keep praying for that person.
Amen. Amen. I want you to read the last one for us.
What are the characteristics of an unforgiving person?
Okay.
If you are struggling with unforgiveness, you may experience bursts of anger, become petty and impulsive, feel the need to make the person understand.
Stop right
your
there.
pain.
We're saying too much Abigail stuff right here.
I know. I kid you not. I'm thinking about Abigail. Like
I think it was a good word. Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah, I better leave my
Yes.
Abby alone. I got
Read
you.
it again. Become petty and impulsive. Feel the need to make the person understand your pain.
Uh-huh.
Engage in compulsive behavior. Be unable to reframe your experience and blame others for your feelings.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All
I
of
don't
that,
think
huh?
I'm like I don't
I
like
think
harm
compulsive.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I do all that. But the pettiness for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I will like bring something up and like you're like, where did that even come from? I don't know. You brought it out of me. Sorry.
Well,
Right, it was
I don't
you
think
said
that's-
forgiving and not forgetting.
I don't think
I'ma bring
that's
it up
a
later.
direct result of unforgiveness. Some people just petty like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't.
I'm
Throwing
not.
shots.
Yeah,
I want to say one more thing because you brought up the cheating thing too. I'm gonna tell a super quick story. I promise.
oh, I thought you were ready to go.
I am, but I want to tell the story. You know what I'm saying? So you were talking about the cheating thing and like how you kind of wear that unforgiveness as a badge of honor. I was with somebody for like 4 years. We dated on and off, but like they were my like main person for 4 years, and like this person cheated on me several times. So I found things in the bank statements, in the emails, dating app, all the things you can think of, prostitution, all of that, right? And so I was with this person and I stayed with them after every time, but every time I would like take them back or whatever, I would throw more jabs and I felt justified in that. I would treat them worse and I felt power through that in the way that like, well, I can say whatever I want to you. I can do whatever I want because you've already done the worst. And so it made me not maybe the most loyal in that relationship. I didn't do anything that he did, but you know, it made me like, you know, maybe teeter on certain lines that I wouldn't have otherwise done because I felt okay in doing that because anything I do isn't going to be half of what you did to me. So I think that's where that badge of honor comes in. You feel a sense of power, even though it's actually diminishing your power.
It's
I was just about to
100%
ask you, because in
diminishing.
the midst of you throwing the jabs and stuff, like, did you ever sit back and think like, "Dang, I'm hurt"?
Yeah. No, yeah. I was definitely like, this is not an ideal situation. Now I'm feeling out of my character.
That's exactly.
Now I'm acting in a way that isn't true to who I am.
Yeah.
And now it's a cycle. Now I'm throwing jabs at you because you're cheating. You're cheating on me because I'm throwing jabs at you and you don't feel secure in who you are.
Trust is done.
The trust is done.
Yeah.
So we're just hanging out.
And it goes back to talking about
And jab after jab, you
Actually, so
just
what's the point?
it goes back to talking about we're dealing with toxic people. So now we're going through this cycle. So now when I'm out that relationship, I still have that same energy. Like I'm still throwing jabs and this man just do me nothing.
And now
Yeah.
you're taking this over here to this relationship.
And I'm messing up here because I literally messed up a relationship like that. I talked to a guy like I talked to my last guy, but I had to talk to my last guy like that because that's the only way he understood. And he
Right.
liked
Some people
it.
got to pop
what
off
you
with,
mean?
but
That's
then
the
you
only
can't.
way he understood. That's the
that's
only
who
way you thought he
No,
understood.
That's the only way he understood.
Some men are frustrated.
Yeah,
Brother
some
Carter.
men are toxic.
Sorry.
Like you have to deal with them, especially our New Orleans men, and no shade to them, but they're a different type of breed. And so sometimes you have to cuss them out, their mama, their grandma, all kind of stuff, and then they're gonna be like, "All right, fat, go ahead with all that." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they respond, they act right, but I can't talk like I got some sense with them because if I talk like I got some sense, they're gonna walk all over me, and they're gonna be like, you know, they're not listening.
You got to turn the hood out. Huh?
Yeah, you know, they're not listening. They can't identify with what I'm saying. So when I go at them like that, they get back in
So
line.
you brought that to a healthy person.
a pastor,
And a pastor, baby.
a pastor.
And he told you, girl.
And he was like, "Oh no, we're not doing this." He said, "I'm not doing this. This level of disrespect." He said, "I can't do this." And that man left me alone.
you know, and you
Just say bye.
I was like, "Dang, I gotta get it together." So I was like, "Let me stop dealing with these toxic fools," even though I was enjoying it. You know, but that's just was never who I was. You know what I'm saying?
See,
And
I
so-
grew up with
and so to
all
get
male.
back-
wait. No,
And-
Coco,
and
let
so to
Coco
get back on the show here.
Wait. Let Coco get hers back out. Come on, Coco.
Make it quick, Brother Carter. I grew up with all
The show that
boys.
went toxic all of a sudden.
I'm sorry. But sometimes you gotta. Women need to put themselves in a male perspective. I grew up with all boys, like cousins, older brothers, whatever. And I looked at how some of them got hurt in like high school. Off of they wasn't even mature enough for their relationship yet. And going into their adulthood, like I would watch my brother like treat girls like absolute crap. And it would be like, I'm just not trying to get too tied in because I got my heart broke before years ago.
You were
And-
15. Get over it.
Yes,
You're 35.
But
Move on.
half of them never deal with it. It's like the hurt. They don't.
They don't
forgive
deal
it.
with anything.
So anybody
They
else
don't
that
know
they
how.
meet after that is like trash. You don't get too close. Or if you do get too close, you cheat to not get too close.
Yeah.
So I think like a
Self-sabotage.
male sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I've been around this so much. I've seen the long text messages. And my brother could be like,
and be like,
bro,
whatever.
everybody go somewhere. Like it didn't even matter to him. And it puts me in a like, oh, I ain't going to do that because I've been in the room with the
With the
male.
other
Because
person
the
doing it.
male that doesn't, because they don't deal with their stuff.
Right.
So then they are like, hey, anytime something remotely looks like it's going to be a problem or toxic,
Mhm.
it's a wall up automatically.
And that's what unforgiveness does. It puts something over your heart to where
Yeah,
you
you
can-
cold.
Yeah. unforgiveness will do that to you.
Well, I just don't.
It'll get, there was a song made by Brick called
Brother
Mrs.
Carter.
Stoneheart.
Why you gotta be Mrs.? Because I'm gonna go.
That's the song was about Mrs. Stoneheart.
Okay.
Because she was so cold. Because she'd been hurt so
But
many
here's
times
the-
and nobody even dealt with her, all the pain she had gone through. So now she just become a cold person. It's just like an unforgiving man as well.
Okay, I'm so glad you did that, because what we like to always look at is a woman, and you don't look at the man, because the man has a lot of stuff that he is unwilling to deal with.
I just don't know how to
Nobody,
process.
nobody's debating that with you.
No.
You're
I
100% on that.
No, but I was saying, I was talking about
Yeah.
Coco. Coco says she knows how when she get a long text from somebody, she ain't fit to deal with
Yeah.
that, because she knows
Or
that
she not being that person
she's not going to be
saw
that
how men
person to
respond.
send it out, because she know what a man is
Mhm.
going to respond to.
I've been around. Oh my gosh, I've seen girls.
I think that was
broken.
good.
Mhm.
And you would think that the male was over there broken like you, and
No.
he not even. He think about birds or something, and you over there like broken in pieces. Like, you gotta get yourself together, girl. Because
Yeah.
these men, they are cold.
They're
okay?
not even looking
And
at
once
it.
you realize that in this world,
You gonna be
you
all right.
move different.
You move differently.
So in essence, in fulfilling the prophecy of unforgiveness, I want each one of us to recognize a sign of unforgiveness in us, and that where we can work toward bettering to
Recognize that we still have-
recognize the unforgiveness within us, like resentful. I'm resentful for my daddy leaving when I was 10 years old. Okay. What can I do to work to forgive my father for doing that?
Mhm.
What can I do?
Are you still
Who tell
resentful? Are you still resentful for that? Because I
I think so.
Who
Well, I'm-
told you to forgive?
Hmm?
Who told you to forgive?
Forgive.
Yeah, who tell us where do you get to forgive from? Why do you have to forgive? Who tells you to forgive?
It come from the Bible.
Well, then go back to the Bible.
It's how
The
you
Bible says-
Yeah.
Right. God, you tell me I'm supposed to forgive, but this person did this to me. How am I supposed to forgive that
Yeah.
person?
And
I
allow
get what
God
you're
to-
saying.
Uh-huh.
I get what you're saying in the spiritual, but talk to carnal-minded Lawns.
When
That's
it gets
still
deep
harboring
like
that.
Because
that.
carnal-minded Lawns do not comprehend spirituality.
I know, and that's
Yeah,
what makes it
that's
hard because
right.
you don't understand that unforgiveness is a spiritual thing.
Right.
not a
I
physical thing.
think I would say that first, truly acknowledging that you have not dealt with that, or
Mhm.
you've not had a conversation, or you've not really sat down and really shared, this is how it made me feel, and y'all journey that back.
That part right there.
But you know,
Having the conversation. That's the lacking part right there.
Mhm.
Because
You dance.
verbally saying I forgive you
mhm.
for doing, but not going through the process
Yes.
of what you did.
yeah, and
Yeah,
why
that's-
I'm not
Yeah.
forgiving you.
All right. You done worked on me now.
It was another thing that I was about to say, because it is a carnality, as well, that you
Mhm.
and certain steps that you can take. I lost my train of thought real quick. It
It's
is
okay.
showing
Go
empathy.
back where you lost your mind.
Look, showing empathy to the
Mhm.
actual person, because a lot of times when I was harboring things about my mom, what she did or didn't do, and I had an amazing mom, I had to think about it. What helped me was me putting myself in her shoes.
Mm.
Why would she do that?
And what
Why?
she was going through that caused her to do the things that she did. And not that
Mhm.
she did anything wrong. It's
Mhm.
just that I didn't like how she did it. But why did she do it? Because of what she was dealing with. My mother couldn't give me what she didn't have.
Right.
And she only gave me the best of what she could, predicated on what she was dealing with.
Yeah.
So if she's in a certain place dealing with certain traumas and certain things, that ailments, whatever it may
Right.
have been, of course she's going to respond in this way because that's all she have to give.
Right.
So I started to sympathize with
Mhm.
her. You see what I'm saying? So I turned that empathy, to sympathizing with her and
Mhm.
understanding. And when I started to sympathize, it broke the way that I viewed it. She
Mm.
still did what she did, wrong or right,
Mhm.
but it changed my perspective on what she did and why she
how
did
you
it.
dealt with her and how you felt about her.
Exactly. So that's like if your dad did something to you and you didn't like why your dad left. You know, try to find an understanding of why he left.
Ain't no damn understanding.
But you can't. Yes, it is. But you can't have an understanding. You can't.
I did find this though. I'm putting a little business out there for a minute. I did find relief in him leaving because it was so toxic with him being there. And so that was relief that he was going on. But I talked to my daddy now and and he's 80 some years old. And he still had the same mind frame. He be talking about his wife now, about going upside her head. I say, man, is you crazy or something?
They don't have the same frame of reference that we do. And they don't have the resources that we do to identify with some of their wrongdoings. You know, back in their day, nobody was telling them, oh, you need to fix this. You need to change this. They just know my daddy was like this and this is how I'm supposed to be. My grandfather was like this. This is how I'm supposed to be. They don't have what we have now. You know what I'm saying? To deal and maybe process. Not
even willing to
and it's not even about what they have now, because I'm gonna say this here. I agree with you on that part, but it's the other part that I think that you have to do for yourself. Individuals, you got to have that conversation. That conversation has to take place while you can. There is a few things that my dad's gone on home. I wish I would have been able to have a conversation with him about, because there are still things I've forgiven him, but there are still things that are left undone. So while he's still here in his right mind and you're in your right mind, have that conversation so there can be true forgiveness.
And see, I wish I was more like you, Val, because you know, you have never been a person that had something going on and you did not address it.
Yes, I have.
I've never seen you like that. You didn't fear confrontation with your father, your mother, your uncles. I've seen you go to bat with wrongdoing. I've seen you just go straight up.
But I had the fear. That's what I'm saying. I had the fear. The fear gripped me each and every time. It gripped me. But what really helped me more is I knew I know myself. I knew I had to have that conversation. I knew what I had to get it out. So I'm just saying, for you or for anybody, if you can have the conversation.
Have a conversation.
All
right. And thank y'all.
Quick question before we go. Do you feel that it would break you if you have that conversation? Because I know there's a huge breaking that happens when you have the conversation. Like when I had to turn to the wall and I started talking, I just broke down. But it was a release that needs to happen. So sometimes, like when you didn't have the conversation with your dad, do you fear that breaking that will happen, and you being a man, you won't have the full control?
A man ain't supposed to cry,
but it's in you to cry.
I'm just kidding.
But you know, it's in you know. And do you fear
that certain fear? I'm sure do.
Play a part in it.
But you're gonna fight through it.
You're gonna get there. You're gonna be all right. All right. We ain't trying to take over your show, but this is a good show.
Well, y'all did good though. And because on Tasteful Toxic, y'all helped me today with some unforgiveness or some resentment, should I say, within my heart. And I hope you as the audience and also the guests have heard something that might empower you in this thing called unforgiveness. We want to leave this earth without having any kind of resentment or bitterness toward anyone, let alone ourselves at the end of the day. So I hope that we can get that all fixed up and be better versions of ourselves at the end of the day. That makes sense?
Makes sense to me.
All right. Are we on the same page?
On the same page.
All right. Well, thank y'all for listening to Tasteful and Toxic with your main man. I'm Brother Carter, Brother C, Mr. Carter, LC, whatever you want to call me. I'm all those and some more. Thank you for listening to the show. God bless you. We love you. And we'll talk to you next week.